guys, so Zayman White from Maniac Productions live here, and today I'll be going over The Flash Season 1. So in Season 1 of The Flash so far, we have met many metahumans or enemies of The Flash that have been mentioned in comics and so forth. Like, we're introduced to a guy who can control the weather, who can make multiple forms of himself, who can turn himself into a living gas. We've met a guy who could make his body into metal. We've met a man who uses freeze technology to basically do his evil deeds. We've met a man who can absorb electricity and use it against anybody. We've met a man who can make anybody mad just by sending a red kind of light into a person's eye. And then we also, this past Tuesday night's mid-season finale, we finally met the Reverse Flash. Now, to start off, the season starts off with Barry Allen. We're kind of introduced, like, the story behind it is Barry Allen's mother was murdered by a lightning streak or something going around her, and well, obviously she was murdered. But you know, Barry saw it, and his dad saw it, and there's a man in a yellow suit. And then, you know, of course, Barry is sent blocks away from his house. And, you know, his dad gets framed for it, and I feel bad because I know his dad didn't do it. I generally know he is completely innocent. Yeah. And so, you know, Barry, he goes on to be an analyzer for the Central Police Department, where he analyzes the data and so forth. That's where we are introduced to Joe, and who is a detective, but also the person who took Barry when his parents were, well, when his mother was dead and when his father was in jail. So he watched over Barry ever since that event. And then we're also introduced to Iris, who is Joe's daughter and Barry's secret love, which is interesting. And you know, all at first it's like just your typical kind of like cop drama. It's like, oh yeah, Barry, come on down. Something happened. You know, come check it out. You know, and then we are introduced later on when Iris and Barry go to this presentation of a professor named Harrison Wells, who is probably one of the smartest people in Central City at the moment. And he's telling them about how he has this particle accelerator that will be the next step to technology of the future. Which is interesting, because Harrison Wells, throughout the entire season, he's kind of a sketchy character. It's like, you can't really tell if he's a good person. Well, I mean, obviously he shows he's a good person because he cares about Barry most of the time. But it's like, you kind of seem like you have a dark secret you're hiding from all of us. And, but anyways, like, you know, so he tells everybody that, you know, this particle accelerator is going to be like something that everybody will be talking about. And then, of course, Caitlin and Cisco, who work for him at Star Labs, are introduced. And so when they actually go to test the particle accelerator and turn it on, at first it works just fine. But then after a while it actually breaks down and sends out a huge pulse around the entire Central City, giving all those metahumans I listed those powers, and giving Barry power. And he was actually struck by lightning, which that gave him his ability to be super fast. But he was out for 9 months in a coma after it. Yeah. So it was win-lose situation. He got powers, but he had to be out for 9 months. Oh well. So, Barry, he's brought to Star Labs, they do some tests on him, and throughout the series, we just kind of see Harrison Wells keep testing Barry to push his limits, to go faster and faster, to get to the Flash that we know is like super, super fast Flash, and, so, yeah, I mean, like, Joe finds out eventually because Barry tells him after Barry faced the weather controlling mutant, or not mutant, metahuman. And, from there it's kind of like two people, it's like, well, I know the secret, but I can't tell, Iris because, that just be, that get her in danger and everything. Which is interesting because Iris actually takes an interest in Barry because there's people taking pictures of red streaks and a man who just appears and disappears, and so she starts this blog, and she meets with Barry a few times, which she has to disguise his voice so she doesn't know it's him, and then eventually she gives him the name The Flash after a while. And I mean, just the dynamics between all the characters, like Joe, Iris, Barry, Cisco, and Caitlin, and Clint, who is Joe's partner, Eddie, excuse me, wow, Eddie, who is Joe's partner, is Iris's boyfriend at the moment. I mean, all of them work well together, but it's interesting because in the mid-season finale, Barry finally tells Iris that he's loved her ever since, back then, and now we have that kind of love triangle that Eddie likes Iris, Iris likes Eddie, Eddie thinks Barry likes Iris, Barry confirms that he likes Iris, but Iris still likes Eddie, but Iris can't accept that Barry likes her, and it's a nasty love triangle. Let's just give it at that. So I mean, yeah, we have some good battles between each episode, and mid-season finale. I want to talk about this. So of course there's a Christmas episode, being it's almost Christmas time. So of course we got a lot of Hart family, and this is when Barry does tell Iris he's loved her and so forth, and but no, the real highlight of this episode is we finally meet the Reverse Flash, and at first we find out that he is a killer. He literally kills just to get what he wants, and then Barry sees him one night and tries to chase after him, gets the crap beat out of him. They try to find him again. They catch the Reverse Flash for a while, and then the Reverse Flash grabs Harrison Wells, beats him up, and the force field they created, then escapes. Barry Allen fights him again, but then the Reverse Flash is like, we're not done, and he disappears. And here's the part where if you haven't seen this yet, you might not want to watch the rest of the video, because I'm letting a huge spoiler go if you haven't seen it on the internet or the episode. At the end, Harrison Wells, as I said, he was sketchy. He has this side room where it's like he has future technology where he talks to a futuristic computer, puts logs into a futuristic log, and he has a secret compartment in the wall where he pushes a button, and guess what he reveals? He reveals a flash ring. Yeah. And so once he does, that panel door opens, and out comes the Reverse Flash suit. So he goes to put his ring to it, opens the door, and then he introduces the technology he had stolen earlier and adds it to the suit, because I believe it adds the speed that he needs to time travel. Because I have a feeling that he probably is from the future. Just a thought, So, yeah, I mean, I figured that he would be, um, the Reverse Flash, or at least one of them. So, the only thing I don't get is how, the Reverse Flash was beating him up in the force field. But, I mean, at the same time, time travel this could be the very early Reverse Flash taking on an older Reverse Flash. I could be wrong, it's time travel, anything can happen. So yeah, overall this series so far has been really good. Looking forward to next January second half, and totally looking forward to see what happens with the Reverse Flash and Barry. So until later, guys, I will see you later. Bye.